All right, so welcome back everyone to the Meet the Maker interview series. My name's Marcy. For those of you I don't know, if you're watching, thank you for watching. This is where I'm interviewing artists and makers that are going to be participating in the Bristol and Bloom Appalachian Regional Art Festival that's coming up on Saturday, August 8th of this year. Today, I'm super excited to be chatting with my friend Benji. Benji, if you would,
Yes.
thank you for joining me. If you would just, for people who don't know you, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you make.
All right. So I'm Benji Sharrett. I'm from the Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia area. We, as for some of you that don't know, me and Marcy went to high school together. So we've known each other for quite a while. And about 3 years ago, I started a leather business. It was formerly called Bristol Branded Leather Company. I think it was in January this year, we took branded off, and just because it was just too long to say. So it's now just Bristol Leather Company. And we make primarily smaller leather goods, like coasters, wallets. I have several different wallet styles that I make. Key fobs, keychains. Let's see. Gosh, if some people are familiar with field notes, they're like little notebooks that you can we make covers for those. And then our main one has like card slots for it. Those are probably our biggest seller, just because it's just something different. You really don't see a lot of those. We're getting into bags and belts whenever I have time. I mean, I don't know.
You have twins. Like, what?
Well,
What
that, and I have a
you
full-time
have
job.
plenty of time. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you have a full-time job too. You've got plenty of time. You're fine.
yeah. I can definitely work at 2 or 3 a.m. No problem.
Just get started.
Yeah. So, but really, the main thing I want to do with this business, and I really hope it gets to this, is I would love to be able to do this full time. This
I
this this is I love doing this stuff.
Well, honestly, Benji, it's so funny. So you already said or shared with people that, we've known each other for a long time and we went to high school together. And it's so funny because when you started sharing this and that you were doing this work, I was like, of course he is. Like, this is absolutely what I would see him doing, just because you've always been somebody that I've thought has been, put together, well dressed, and I mean that in like really great style. And you also have had this appreciation and this eye for really good quality, high quality items. And so when you started making your own leather goods, I was like, yes, that's absolutely what Benji would be doing and should be doing. Like, it's so great.
Yeah.
So
It's
I 100% support you in this journey, and I'm so excited to watch you progress.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and you've had a ton of success already, even doing this, with a full-time job and with twins. Like, you've already been doing really great. So I think, did I see also that you had like a corporate order from the bank where you work?
It wasn't where, oddly enough, it wasn't where I work. But I know I'm close with a guy that works kind of higher up at Bank of Tennessee, and so he contacted me about this past Christmas about Christmas orders for maybe about 60, 70 people at Bank of Tennessee. So we got the ball rolling on that. I'm going to be quite honest with you. It was for 60 of those field note things with the card slots. So what we call our Hemingway V2, which is the version 2 of the original Hemingway. But I was like, this is amazing. And then I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? But I can't turn this. I'm not going to turn this down. I mean, this is huge. So I just shut everything else. I got my last order done, and I just shut everything else down for 2 months. And literally, that's the only thing I worked on. And we got it done probably a couple weeks before Christmas. And but it was so much fun doing that. They turned out really. I was so happy with how they turned out. We used a really dark brown leather for that. which had a lot of character to it. And the stitching that we used was green, Bank of Tennessee's color. And they just turned out phenomenal, really.
That's so cool and so exciting. And I know that anxiety you're talking about too, where you're just like, oh my God, what have I done?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just going to share my screen so people can actually get a look at some of the goods that you're offering.
Okay.
And so here I've got your Instagram pulled up.
Yep.
So we've got a little bit of a look at, so you're doing coasters.
Yep.
This looks to be one of the wallets that you also are working on.
Yep.
And offer.
Yes.
And you're now offering t-shirts, which is really exciting.
Yep.
So when you, and here are some of the wallets that you've got as well. Is this kind of like the field note? This is the Bank of Tennessee.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the Hemingway V2.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, that's so gorgeous.
Thank
and
you.
would be so handy. So when you're talking about, look at these are so gorgeous. So I just have so many questions. So
Okay. Yeah.
when it comes to your leather,
Yes.
what are you looking for in your materials? What are you looking for when you're looking for leather, and how are you sourcing your leather?
So before I started this, I had no idea what different options were out there. It literally blows my mind. Really, I guess in every craft, in different areas of it, how much stuff goes into it, how many choices you have. I just thought leather was, I've always loved leather, but I just thought, well, there's one leather in different colors and that's it. My gosh, no. But really what I try to do, I try to get leather that is sourced here in the U.S., try to keep it here. So I order a lot of my leather from a tannery in Maine. And I'd say probably about 95% of mine comes from that. I'm looking for, see, the leather that you use for wallets is going to be different than the leather that you would use for coasters. Coasters are going to be much thicker. Mm-hmm. It is not a leather that you would use for wallets because I'm wanting to go minimalist. And so that would make no sense. So
yeah, it wouldn't necessarily fold, I would imagine.
Right. Yeah, it'd be huge. So you're looking for a much thinner leather for wallets. And like for the valet trays I make, thicker leather is good for that just because it's more sturdy. But we've kind of started incorporating some leather that is Italian, and there's like an array of colors that we have with those. It shows really awesome character. And it's at a higher price point, but I started incorporating those last year at Rhythm and Roots. And I mean, people didn't mind paying $75 for a wallet that is usually $60.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's, I don't know. It's amazing how much different stuff there is to it.
Well, and I think just kind of what you're talking about, people don't mind paying the price for it.
Yeah.
When it's good quality, people will pay for it. And yeah. I think also we're transitioning into a place and a time and a state of consciousness as a collective and community that we're recognizing that like cheap, fast fashion just is not sustainable and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And, I was just chatting with Steve Kurd, who's a fashion designer from Glade Spring, and he has Lavelle Manufacturing. And, he was saying the same thing, that for him, it's, why would you spend money on an outfit or clothing that you're going to throw away in a couple months or next year? And instead you should invest in good quality clothing that's going to last.
Right.
Timeless.
Right. I mean, the thing with my products is, and a lot of other, I mean, there's around the country, there's so many great leather crafters and leathersmiths, I guess is the technical term, but I do hand stitching on all of anything that's stitched. There is no machine that is used. It's just my hands. And I think that and now I'll do that for as long as I can, but when I'm 60, I don't know if that'll be doable, but I think it's so important because if somebody were to take the time to watch me or anybody else that does this from start to finish, from like getting the patterns, tracing them out, the amount of time that it takes to make one of those Hemingway V2s is pretty amazing from start to finish. I mean, it takes upwards of an hour and a half, 2 hours to do the whole thing with no disruptions. And so what you're getting when you buy something from me is, you know, a lot of love is put into it. I am a perfectionist. It bothers me if one little stitch is out of order. But you're getting something that literally should last a lifetime, because the way I stitch it, it's called saddle stitch. And if you look that up, it is so much stronger than the machine stitch. Not saying that those products aren't good. It's just, my stuff, the way that I and a lot of other people do it, will last you longer. Sure should.
Yeah. And I think too, you doing the hand stitching and paying there's so much attention to detail.
Oh yeah.
When you're working the way that you are with your materials. And
yep.
Again, it's, you know, it's just priceless in that sense. You know, yep. It's more than just a wallet. Like, right. And it's so funny. I was just chatting with a few fellow artists recently, not unrelated to this series. And we were talking about paintings and pricing and everything. And one of the artists was saying, you know, a painting is priceless. Like, right. It's one of a kind, it's original, it's priceless. Like, it's a work of art. And so essentially, no matter at what point you sell it, no matter what you sell it for, you're still giving it away because it is priceless. And right. Yeah. It's a lot the same with what you're doing as well. Each wallet is individual. It's unique. It's one of a kind. It's hand stitched. Like, those things are priceless. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, again, I'm so glad that you're sharing about what the work, all the work that goes into it, because I don't think that a lot of people realize like how much goes into creating something like that.
Right.
So oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I was going to say a lot of people, and it's not bad to do this. I'm not downing anybody that does this. A lot of people, you know, would go to a department store and buy a wallet. I mean, yes, they'll last 5-10 years. I mean, and that's perfectly fine. That's cool. But I think we as a country need to get back to working with our hands, doing stuff. Like, I'm an old soul, so I'm just partial to that kind of stuff. And I think that, you know, schools need to teach stuff like this and just get people interested in this, because if we don't, it's just going to die off.
Well, and I think I agree. And I think that it's important not only for keeping the tradition alive, but also for how enriching it is to a person's life.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for a lot of people, and like, think about, as not saying that it's not stressful doing what you do, right. Especially when you have like big orders like you did, yeah. And you've got a deadline you've got to meet. I know that pressure can be intense, but think about like how absorbed you get in that work. Uh-huh. And like how lost you get in that work.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can get it's definitely therapeutic, I think. Absolutely. When you're working with your hands and you're creating things. I mean, any art form, any craft, it's that same experience of just being so completely engrossed in the experience that literally anything else that's going on just fades into the background. And so I think it's important because of what it can do for a person's mental well-being as well.
Yep.
So I'm going to share my screen again and just look through some more things that you're offering. So these are some of the tools that you're working with. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So what's your workspace like? Is it in your home? Is it in your basement? Is it in your living room?
So, well, here's what it used to be when we had the townhouse. You know, we recently bought a house and moved in probably about 3 or 4 months ago. But when we had the townhouse, felt so bad for my wife because it was literally half. Oh, it was awful. I feel so bad about this. It was half of our living room. So we had a normal living room, and then the other half was this just this huge leather area. Oh, it was awful. So we found this house, didn't even know that it had this I guess the guy that lived here before did woodwork. There's a huge table already. There's like I mean, it's literally perfect.
Nice.
So now it's in a basement, away from normal living areas.
And little children.
And little children, yes. And so it's like my own little space. I'm trying to decorate it. It's basically going to be a man cave / leather shop. So
yeah, that's so cool and so exciting.
Yeah.
And God bless Katie for being such a patient woman.
Listen, can't say that enough. Yes.
That's funny. I know Adam probably feels a lot of your pain or Katie's pain because my studio space is in our living room, and we have plans to have like an art studio in the backyard at some point, but I was like begging him to paint the walls white in the living room, and he hates white walls, so nothing against white walls, but Adam just doesn't like them. And he was like, no. And I was like, I really need white walls so that I can like see my art against white walls and like get a full picture. Yeah. And he was like, no. So we painted the walls white, and then as soon as we painted them white, I start hanging up my blank canvases, and I get my station set up. I hang up canvases to start working, and he's like, okay, well, you can't get paint on the walls because we just painted them white. And I was like, okay. So now there's like paint all over the walls. And
yeah, that's awesome.
That whole side of the living room is just like paint splatter, marks, everything. It's just a disaster. But so otherwise, so you're hoping this can evolve and become a full-time thing.
I would love it.
Yeah. So right now you're kind of taking a break. Is that right?
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to start. I'm trying to start back some very, very slowly.
Yes.
And it's kind of funny as soon as I like post a few things on Instagram, I guess everybody was like, "Oh, he's back!" So it's like, I want this, I want that, and that's perfectly fine. For anybody that orders, probably from here on out, just know it will take a little bit longer than it would usually take. So, for a wallet, I would give 2 weeks. That's just going to be a little bit longer. I mean, you'll get it.
Yes.
I can't really say for sure when, because we just got a lot going on. So
yeah, and I think again, for like a good quality item, I think people are willing to wait.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the Etsy. What I'm gonna do. I'm trying to decide on this. The Etsy store is down just right now because A, I don't want to get bogged down with orders, and B, I'm really wanting to transition to a website soon, and get away from Etsy. Etsy's been wonderful, to be quite honest with you. I've really enjoyed that, and who knows, I may do both if I feel crazy. But I think an official website would be so much better for people to go and shop than an Etsy site, honestly. So we are taking a break. On the back end of the break, I guess. And you could say that maybe the break's over, but I'm really trying to get focused on some orders for Boomtown in Johnson City and Kingsport. And once that's done, focus on Rhythm and Roots. And then obviously our event. And so I'll be busy.
Yeah. You say you're taking a break, but you're really not. You're still
really not.
No. Well, I'm just going to share my screen one last time and show. So again, here's your Etsy shop. So I love this wallet too. I have a lot of friends who are musicians, and so I think those would make really great Christmas presents.
Yes.
Just planning for myself. And the coasters, these flasks. So these are, you're doing just covers? Is it like a cover that is fitted to the flask, which is pretty
right.
cool.
Yeah, so I kind of got the dimensions I wanted for it. I found the flasks that I wanted, ordered those, and just kind of played around with it a little bit until I found the dimensions I liked. And so those have been a really unique product for us. I think honestly, a lot of people get them and don't even use them. They just like buy them and like display them at their bar in their home or something like that. Which, I mean, you know, you're do whatever you want to, really.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yes, and I love this white leather one too.
So I'll give you a little rundown real quick on that. That is called vegetable tanned leather. Now that is it's a completely different tanning process than the colored leathers that you see. Vegetable tan can be colored, and it's the Italian leather that I was talking about earlier. That's vegetable tan as well. But this one, it's just natural vegetable tan leather, and holds stamps really well. Just the specific tanning process that goes through that. It'll age and be as dark as a dark brown wallet years after.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
it's pretty sweet.
So it's kind of like a mood ring wallet.
Yes, and it's kind of odd. A lot of people, I've tried to get people's opinions on vegetable tan leather, and like in polls on Instagram and stuff, and a lot of people around this area, I don't know if they don't understand about it, but they don't really. I think they maybe think that it's going to stay that color forever. So it's really not been a well received kind of leather for me. But you know, hopefully in the years to come, people can kind of see what happens to it after use and appreciate, you know, the beauty of it. So
yeah, I think it's a cool. I mean, it sounds really neat, and maybe one day after you've had one around for a couple of years, you can even sort of do like a side by side and just show the transformation, because that sounds really neat.
Yeah.
So this is when you rebranded to Bristol Leather Company.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is your Instagram, and then I've got your, let's see, this is your Etsy shop. So we see that you're taking a short break, but you're not really taking a break.
Right.
And then I've got your Facebook here. So otherwise, should somebody want to order something from you, what would be, I guess, right? Otherwise, they could go through the Etsy, but right now, even though you're not taking orders, if you wanted to order something.
So right now, most people message me on Facebook, through Facebook Messenger, or through the Messenger on Instagram. Either one of those, or you could email me. I think it's just bristolleathercompany@yahoo.com. You could email me there as well, and that's probably the three primary ways to order from me right now.
Okay, cool. Well, Benji, I'm just so excited to see like how you continue to evolve and the things that you make. I'm super excited about bags. Just gonna say myself. Just put that out there. Bags. Really like that. You can get started on those ASAP. I'm just kidding. No rush, but a little rush. But I'm really excited to see where this goes for you and all the things that you continue to create. And and I'm just super grateful to have you participating in the Bristol and Bloom event and for taking the time to chat with me about your work today. Hug your babies for me. And
I will. You hug yours as well.
I will.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for being a great friend over the years, Marcy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. We'll chat again soon, okay?
All right, see ya.